So is our YouTube, it's a bit different than the www.toronto.ca, right? Our YouTube,
It's just YouTube.
I'm just going to YouTube and I'll just search for Toronto Fire.
Yeah.
Okay, because seniors aren't going to know. They usually don't know what it is.
Good morning, everybody. This is Captain Roman Wojnarski reporting to you live once again in West Command, Station 424 with Toronto Fire Services, and we're bringing you another of our series of discussions in a fire hall. We're coming to you live on social media on our YouTube channel. We're very happy you could join us. A big hello to everybody at home, all our shut-ins. We're still socially isolating and we're staying at home, and we've got a very special program here today, especially focused on our seniors. But before we begin, I just want to ensure that my staff are properly separated by social distancing. We want a minimum of 2 meters between our presenters and, of course, from our wonderful audience at home. As I said, seniors, very, very important part of our lives and the fastest growing segment of the population. So we've got some interesting tips and facts to share with you. You've heard them before, but you know, we may have forgotten some of the things that we've learned along the way. Remember too that we want this to be very interactive, so there's an opportunity for anyone out there, whether you're a senior or whether you're someone who has a senior in your life and you'd like to refresh their memory about some of the information that we're going to give them, type in your box in the comments field, and we welcome all your questions, your comments, your compliments and your criticisms. We like to hear from you, even if it's just to say hello. So I've got with me today fire and life safety educators Tiziana Abate and Mary Lee Beck. Ladies, come and have a seat and we will begin our presentation.
Hello everyone. Hi Mary Lee.
Hi Tiziana, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, good morning. Doing just fine, thank you. So I thought we would start off by talking a little bit about how long it would take for us to escape if there happens to be a fire.
So if you have an actual fire going, believe it or not, you only have 1 to 2 minutes to escape. So you have no time to collect pets or any extra valuables. You need to get up and get out as per your escape plan. So what should we do to prevent a fire if we're cooking, Tiziana?
If we're cooking, so we're going to talk a little bit about our prevention aspect of things. So if we're cooking, we want to make that we always take the lid out with us when we do the pot, when we're cooking. So we take out the pot, we start cooking, and now all of a sudden, right, we're cooking away, and a fire happens. So you want to grab your oven mitt, you want to grab the lid of the pot, you want to slide it over the top of that pot, and you want to turn off the stove. Okay, we're just going to move
What if we don't have a lid, Tiziana? What should we use?
Well, again, if we have no lid, right, you're going to grab your oven mitt, you're going to get the cookie sheet, flat side of the cookie sheet, cover it up, turn off your stove. Leave it alone, don't touch it. It'll burn itself out, right?
Okay, do you think it's a good idea to ever use water to extinguish a pot or a pan fire on your stove, Tiziana?
No, never, Mary Lee. You don't, because you know what's going to happen if you put water on a grease fire? Big explosion.
That's right. Every single day in Toronto we have burns because of explosive fires on the stove. So never ever use water on any type of pot or pan fire. Use your lid or your pot lid.
Exactly, exactly. Our sleeves, that's another thing we need to keep in mind, right? Because I know we're at home, we like to wear our bathrobes, right? We're at home, we want to keep our sleeves. They have the dangling sleeves. You want to keep your sleeves short, put away, so that they won't catch on fire. Right, Mary Lee?
That's exactly right. So short sleeves, any extra clothing, don't wear it around the kitchen.
Exactly.
Short sleeve shirt. Where should we put our pot handles, do you think?
I would suggest we turn it away from the stove, right? We turn it away so that it's not, we don't get caught on those pot handles. So not sticking out from the stove. okay?
Do you think it's a good idea to ever take drowsy-inducing medication while you're cooking, Tiziana?
Oh my goodness, no. If you're feeling drowsy, don't cook, because it's so easy to fall asleep. You want to go sit down, you forget that you've got something on top of that stove, and then you'll get a fire, all right? So certain medications, they do make you feel drowsy, but if that's happening, turn off the stove, go lie down, and go and then fall asleep that way. Just make sure you turn off that stove, right?
Exactly.
What about another thing that I also want to bring to your attention is our microwaves. What about our microwaves?
Microwave ovens and regular ovens. Never open the door on either of them. Keep the door closed. Turn the power off. Unplug your microwave and wait for the fire to burn out. It will run out of oxygen because it is an airtight compartment, and then the fire will go out.
Exactly, exactly.
And don't forget to look while you cook. If you must leave, you must turn it off.
Right. Another thing we want to also make sure is we want to keep things away from the stove. Combustible material like our wooden spoon, our tea towels, right? Make sure you have a clear area away from that stove, because these things will catch on fire. You don't want that to happen, right? And always, always look while you cook. Stay in the stove, be aware. Right?
What is the #1 cause of fatal fires, Tiziana?
Fatal fires is actually our smoking, right? Because when we're smoking, we might feel drowsy, we might end up falling asleep, and again, it'll cause a fire, and we won't even be aware of it, right? So if we're smoking, we want to make sure that we are extinguishing those cigarettes and those cigarette butts properly, right? So the best way of doing that is have
A deep ashtray.
a deep ashtray, right?
Or-
A glass ashtray. Now, if you don't happen to have a glass ashtray, you know what else you can use? I rigged something up. You can use this, right?
Yeah.
A coffee tin, a metal coffee tin, or a metal tin of any kind. What would you put in here, Marilee?
I would put sand or water or both inside of the coffee can, because is it ever a good idea to put dry ashes directly into the incinerator or the garbage can, Tiziana?
No, it's not. You want to make sure that it's properly doused, right, with some water, because if you're going to put it, just throw it right into the trash can, it's going to smolder and it's going to cause a fire, right?
Exactly. So if we live in an apartment or a condominium, please never ever flick your cigarette off the balcony. These are competent ignition sources, and they can become airborne. And never extinguish your cigarette butt into potted plants. The sphagnum moss is very flammable. Never flick it out a window either. These are competent ignition sources, and actually in Toronto it's an epidemic now. We have so many balcony fires.
Exactly. People seem to be flicking their cigarette butts out windows or out their balcony. The wind picks it up, ends up putting it onto somebody else's balcony, and then that person ends up having a balcony fire. It is very disturbing how many there are.
So Tiziana, I have a lot of grandchildren, and they visit me often. What should I do with my lighters and matches, do you think?
Oh my goodness, lighters and matches. Okay, believe it or not, the little children, 2, 3, 4-year-olds, they already know how to use lighters and matches. They already know what they're used for, and they know how to light one. So what we want to do is keep them away from their tiny hands. So we want to keep them up high, in a cupboard. Under lock and key is preferable, right? So if you can just keep it up high, away from these little kids, that'll be amazing. Question I have for you, Marilee. If somebody is on oxygen, what should they do if they're smokers and they are on oxygen?
So the first thing to remember, smoking and oxygen never mix. If you are a smoker, you cannot smoke while there is oxygen in use. And they are simple precautions. As you can see, Tiziana is holding up a sign right there. And where do we put that sign, Tiziana?
This is the sign that we need to use if there is oxygen in the home. This should be done, a copy of this should be on the outside of the door leading into the home, on the inside of the door leading into the home. It should be on every door. So if you're in an apartment building, right, you should also have this on your balcony door, right, leading into the balcony, into the home. And no smoking allowed at all if there's oxygen in the home
Exactly.
or the vicinity. So if people are coming to visit and they're smokers, they will know as soon as they see the sign, they need to butt out before they come in.
So another thing, Tiziana, I love candles. I have them all over my house. Do you think I should be using real candles or fake candles, Tiziana?
You can actually use both. It doesn't matter which one you use, but you gotta prevent anything from happening. You need to be more vigilant if you're using real candles. I have here my candles. These are my fake candles. They run on batteries.
And they look so real, actually.
They actually feel real. They are actually wax, right? They feel real, they look real, and if they topple over, if a child runs into the table and knocks it over, it won't matter. If you're using a real candle, you want to make sure it's on a sturdy holder. Also, real candles, you want to make sure you have lots of space around it. So you want to give it 1 foot all around the candle, right? And the other thing about real candles, if you have to leave, you blow it out. Blow out before you go out. That's one of our slogans that we use,
That's
right?
an excellent slogan.
The other thing I want to mention about these candles, because it's wax, you can use a blow dryer and you can put some decoration on here, it will stick, and it will not catch on fire. On a real candle, if there's decorations on it, as the candle burns down, the decorations will catch on fire. So you must be aware of these things, okay?
Exactly.
What about our pets?
So actually, children and pets can knock over real candles. So we recommend actually that you use the fake candles because fake candles will not cause a fire. Did you know that candles and electricity are the 3rd cause of fires in Ontario?
No, I didn't. I was not aware of that, but you know, that does not surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. So what should we do about electricity? We talked about the candles now. What
Yes.
about electricity? What do we need to know
Yes.
about electricity?
Okay, if you're plugging in your electrical components into a power protector, ensure that it is approved by an approving body such as CSA or ULC. If you look on the back of this, you can see this is approved by CSA. You can see the holographic symbol. Please buy your surge protectors from a reputable source. Do not buy them at the dollar store. You must protect yourself. Put those in, your electrical components into there. Do you think that we should run extension cords ever, Tiziana?
Well, extension cords are only used for a temporary basis, okay? So if we do need to use an extension cord on a temporary basis, it's not something permanent. If it is permanent, make sure you have it plugged into an outlet, right?
So I live in an older home. Is it a good idea to ever run cords under the carpet? What do you think about that?
No, because it's so difficult to find the cord, and you might accidentally put the chair foot, the foot of the chair or the foot of a sofa or the foot of something on that cord. It'll squash the cord and it will ruin the protective coating, the insulation around all the wires, and that cord, those wires will catch on fire, right? And you will end up with a fire. What about frayness?
So,
You know how some cords, they get used and frayed?
yes.
Or is that get used?
If you-
Continue?
If you ever notice your cords have become frayed, immediately throw them out and replace them. Frayed cords can cause fires.
Exactly. Exactly. What about our cell phones? We plug in our cell phones into these power bars. What about our cell phones and our laptops?
In actual fact, you should unplug all your cell phones and all your computers before you go to bed because you never know what can happen in the middle of the night. And never use a computer on a soft surface. It needs the ventilation underneath the computer to keep it cool. There have been many fires with laptops and computers because they're on a soft surface with no ventilation.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
So let's talk about laundry.
Laundry, yes, our laundry. We do laundry all the time. I want to point out on the laundry, it's the dryer that we need to be aware of and be careful with, okay? We need to empty out that lint trap after every time that we've used that dryer. So we get our wet clothes, put it in the dryer, let it dry, take out the wet clothes, take out the lint. Very simple. It's, you know, it's just an extension of your clothing that you're taking out of that dryer. Now, I just want to point out that you must also, if you are the owner of a place, you must also clean out that hose in the back, right?
Yes.
Of the dryer, the hose that connects the dryer to the exterior, right?
So have a professional come in once a year, take the lint out. Lint is highly combustible. Dryer fires are on the rise in Ontario, and you'll be hearing more about it in the news. So make sure that you are protected from dryer fires. Very important. Actually, my house had a dryer fire before I moved in.
Oh my goodness, wow. So now you know, you have to clean it out all the time,
Exactly.
once a year at least.
Exactly.
I just want to point out, if you're a tenant, right? Now, if that was your dryer, you're an owner of the home. But if you're a tenant and you're in an apartment building, a tenant, you are still responsible for cleaning out that lint trap. So if you're using those dryers, again, you're removing the dried clothes, clean out the lint trap. The property manager is responsible for cleaning out that hose in the back of the dryer. If you're the owner of the home, you are responsible for cleaning that out. I just want to point out the two differences, because not everybody lives in a home, right?
Exactly. So let's talk about detection. Our primary piece of equipment to protect us against fire is our smoke alarm. It is a law in Ontario to have a smoke alarm on every level and outside all sleeping areas. It is also recommended that you have a smoke alarm in each bedroom for added protection. And how often do we have to test these, Tiziana?
We should test them every month, every single month. I have
Okay.
one right here. I'll make it ring.
Yeah,
Is
just
that
make it
all
ring.
right?
Make it ring.
Okay,
Yes, here
so
we
I'm pressing
go.
the test button.
Here we go.
Okay, so and there's 3 rings, and then there's a pause, right? So that's what mine sounds like.
How often?
Not all smoke alarms ring. Just keep that in mind, right? Some of them actually talk.
How often do we have to test these, Tiziana?
We should test them every month, every single month. Now, smoke alarms, we have them every level in the home, and it's always up on the ceiling, right? That's where you would find them. But if they're up on the ceiling, Marilee,
Yes,
how are
if
we
they're
going to
on
test
the
them?
ceiling, if they're on the ceiling and you're a senior, we do not want you to have an accident. So please ensure that you test it with a broomstick, a hockey stick, a cane, or get a close family member or friend to come in and test it with a hockey stick, a cane, or a broomstick.
Or a broomstick.
And it should be tested at least once a month.
Once a month,
All of them.
exactly. Now, there is a lifespan for these things, right?
Yes.
All smoke alarms have a lifespan of 10 years.
Exactly.
So every 10 years, they need to be replaced. And when you replace them, you replace like for like, right?
Exactly.
So if your smoke alarm happens to be a smoke alarm that is connected through the power line, then you need to get the same one that gets connected through the power, right?
Exactly, and if you're not sure, hire a professional to check them, especially if they're interconnected.
Now, I just want to point out, please send us your questions. We will get back to you at the end of the segment and answer all your questions.
Yes, please join our chat on YouTube. Let's talk about the other thing called the silent killer. What is that actually?
The silent killer, the carbon monoxide. So we also, as well as protecting ourselves from smoke, we need to protect ourselves from carbon monoxide poisoning as well.
And how do we know if we are experiencing carbon monoxide poisoning, Tiziana?
Well, the symptoms are very similar to symptoms of the flu. And one of the things that you'll realize is if you seem to have symptoms of the flu, you go outside, you get fresh air, and suddenly you're feeling a lot better. Then you come back on in, you get symptoms again, shortness of breath a little bit. You go outside, you suddenly feel better. So that sort of gives you an idea of the carbon monoxide, how it's affecting our bodies, right?
Do all homes have to have a carbon monoxide detector, Tiziana?
A house, every house must have, it is the law, they must have carbon monoxide detector in the home. And they have to be outside your sleeping areas, right? So if your house has sleeping areas upstairs and sleeping areas in the basement, you would need carbon monoxide in the hallway outside those 2 sleeping areas,
Yes.
right?
Our sources of carbon monoxide are any fuel-fired appliance, such as a gas stove, a water heater, a gas furnace, or if you have an attached garage in your home. This is all carbon monoxide at the same density in air. And where do we put these actually? Do we put them on the ceiling like our smoke
You can get
alarms?
several different types, right? You've
Yeah.
got one there, looks like
Yeah.
it can be plugged into the electrical outlet,
Exactly.
right? And then you've got another one, and it looks like it can be screwed into a wall, right? And we have to test it. Oh, there it goes.
Sorry, I just
We were
pressed
just
that
testing it.
That's the CO sound.
Yeah, we're testing those as well. So whether it's a smoke alarm or the carbon monoxide alarm, we do the same thing for both, right?
Exactly.
They have all the same things. They need to get tested once.
At least once a month,
Once a
and
month.
change your batteries twice a year when our clocks change.
Exactly. And they also need to be replaced every 10 years. So everything we do for the smoke alarm, we do for the carbon monoxide alarm. Very simple, right? Easy to remember.
Okay, so I live in a
Now-
building.
Okay.
What are my responsibilities as a tenant?
As a tenant in the building, you must test your smoke alarm every month, making sure that it's working. If it's not working, be it the smoke alarm or the carbon monoxide alarm, again, what you do to one, you must do to the other. And if it's not working, you must tell the landlord as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And as a landlord, what's the responsibilities of the landlord, of the building owner, a landlord?
Okay, I just want to mention one more thing about the tenants. I cook a
Oh.
lot. I'm a baker and a cooker. I have a lot of nuisance alarms in my apartment. Do you think I should take the smoke alarm down ever?
Never remove that smoke alarm, okay?
Okay.
That smoke alarm should be staying there, the batteries should be there. You must never tamper with it or touch it or remove it. Other than testing, that will be the only time you will be touching that smoke alarm, okay?
No, I've
So,
asked my...
The landlord, what are the responsibilities of the landlord?
The responsibilities of the landlord is they must protect their tenants and ensure that all the alarms are put in as per the Fire Prevention and Protection Act. In every unit, it's usually when you come in the door, you have a smoke alarm, and you usually have a standalone outside your bedroom area. So they must provide them and maintain them and test them by law once a year.
Exactly.
What, if I'm a
So
tenant...
now we've done the best that we can, we prevented a fire, and it still didn't work, we got a fire, now we need to escape, right? Because now we did our best, but it didn't work, so now we need to escape. So what are we going to do? How are we going to escape? So that's now going to be our next part here.
Okay.
So if we're living in a house, I'll talk about a
Yes.
house. Marilee, you'll
I'll
deal
talk
with
about the buildings.
apartments.
Okay.
So I'll start off with
Yeah.
the house, okay?
Yes.
So if we're living in a home, you must have two ways out of your home, okay? I know that the elderly sometimes have issues with mobility issues, they're slow in movement, so you need to prepare ahead of time so you can escape and that you have the time that you need, so because you know where you're going and what you need to do. So one of the things you must do is make sure you have two ways out of your home. You want to make sure that you also have a meeting spot outside, somewhere in the front of your home, and that's your spot that you're going to dial 911 from. So I made here a board with some information, right? There you go. And it's a home escape plan, and as you can see, you've got two ways out. This particular home has got a side door here and a front door here at the bottom, a front door. And the meeting spot is outside. So your two ways out could be a window or it could be a door, the door, right?
Where should our meeting place be, Tiziana?
Again, the meeting place always in the front, right? All the time. Nowhere else, always in the front, because that's where the firefighters are going to come, and that's where they're going to see that you guys have all escaped from your home. So I just want to say, if there's anybody out there that's living with, that has been living with someone, you do this together. It's not something that you do on your own. This is a family escape plan. So you have to do it together with with everybody that's living in that home.
How often should we practice, Tiziana?
We should practice at least 2 times a year, and always do one time in the daytime and a time in the evening time, because everything looks different at night, right? And another thing you must always do as well, test that door. So if you happen to be in a bedroom and the door is closed, test that door to see if it's warm or hot or cold so that you can escape from that door or escape from the window, right? Always use the back of the hand when you're testing a door, never the front, okay? And again, we crawl low under the smoke, right? Smoke rises, you want to crawl low under the smoke. Get as low as you can. I know sometimes it's difficult. We can't get down on our hands and knees, but you want to get down low underneath that smoke, as low as you can possibly go to get outside.
Exactly, get low and go.
Get low and go.
Okay, so if we live in an apartment or a condominium, here is a sample of an escape plan here. So if we have a fire in our unit, we have one option and one option only. We must get out. We cannot gather anything, we just get out. We go down the hallway, we pull the pull station, and we go down the stairs. If you have mobility challenges, one strategy that we recommend for apartment and condo dwellers is that you make friends with your neighbors on your floor. Because in this event, you have to go and bang on their door and say, I need help, I must shelter in your place. So if you don't have a fire in your actual unit, we are suggesting that you stay and shelter in place, keep the door closed, get some duct tape and just tape as much as you can around. Do not use a step stool or a ladder because we do not want you to fall. And get a towel, go into the bathroom, wet it, and put it at the base of the door to prevent smoke from coming in. If smoke actually does enter your unit through a vent or through the door frame that isn't duct taped, please seek refuge on your balcony. Close the door behind you to not encourage fresh air to come in, encourage the smoke from the hallway, or an interior room such as a bathroom, and immediately call 911 and tell them what is happening. Listen for the instructions on your intercom. Fire service will always announce something, and they will also tell you when it's all clear. They'll also tell you if they're evacuating your floors in your unit. If you have a mobility issue also, make sure your name is on the persons requiring assistance list on your approved fire safety plan, which is located in the lobby. Okay, so what does a pull station look like?
Oh, a pull station. Here we go. I happen to have a pull station right here. This pull station is what you would find near the stairwells, right? All the stairwells would have a pull station. You pull that pull station, and this connects to the alarm in the actual building, right? And this puts the building into alarm.
I don't know if we've talked about this again. Do the elevators work in a building during a fire?
Oh, elevators, no. Never use the elevators, okay? If you're in a building, do not use those elevators. Always use your stairs, and you go down those stairs, okay? If you're evacuating, go down the stairs. Very simple.
And once we're outside, we think we should always stay outside, whether it's a single residential unit or a building?
Once you're outside, you stay outside. Never go back inside. Whether you're in a building or a home, have a family meeting spot, okay? Have a meeting spot. And always you stay at that meeting spot, right? Never go back inside.
And wait for the all clear from the fire.
And you dial your 911 calls from outside. Don't dial while you're going down those stairs, dial from outside, okay?
Wonderful. Do you think we've covered everything?
I think we've covered everything. Thank you so much. So do we have any questions from out there?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Thanks for the information, ladies. We do have a question from Janet. Janet, too, is a baker, just like Mara Lee, and she wants to know the nuisance alarms that she gets as a result of her baking. What are her options? Because her husband just wants to tear the smoke alarm down because he's usually napping at that time. So what can we offer in terms of alternatives for those nuisance alarms?
Some very good strategies in regards to nuisance alarms are move your smoke alarm away from the kitchen, or you can purchase an alarm with a hush feature and you can turn that off with your broomstick, or you can seek another type of smoke alarm such as photoelectric. Photoelectric detects large particles of smoke, and those are good for the kitchen. Those are also good for outside of steaming bathrooms. Ionization alarms are good for every other part of the house, as they are quite sensitive and respond to fast flaming fires.
Another thing that can also be done, Marilee, you can turn the fan on over the stove, open up a window as well, right?
That's right, Tiziana.
To get the air out, to get the smoke out.
Ventilation, yeah.
And get some ventilation going on that way. So these are a lot of good
Yes,
tips of what
good
we can do.
strategies.
Yeah.
And we've got a question from Henry. You mentioned that it's not a good idea to use the elevator in the event of a fire alarm. Henry lives in an apartment building and he wants to know, why can't he use the elevator? Because the stairs are just too difficult for him. He'd like to use the elevator, and why can't he use it?
Okay, the elevator, when the building goes into alarm, those elevators should go right down to the ground floor. They should not be working, okay? Which is why we always say do not use the elevator. Now, when those alarms are ringing, you don't know what kind of a fire. It could be an electrical fire. And those elevators run on electricity, and you might not know that maybe there's something that's going wrong with that electricity in the elevator. And if those elevator door does open, that means there's a malfunction. And it might even not bring you down, right? And you will end up getting trapped in there. Or those elevators will open onto the fire floor, and now you're trapped because you can't get to the stairwell because there's a fire on that floor. So those elevators, again, because we don't know what kind of a fire it is, we always say do not use those elevators, right? Use your stairs. Now, if you cannot get down those stairs, okay, and you happen to have a fire in your apartment, you can't go down the stairs, at least bring a phone with you. You can call 911 because the fire is in your apartment. Get out into the stairwell, get on the landing of the stairwell. That could be your area of refuge for you. Dial 911 and let the dispatcher know that the fire is in your apartment, but you can't get down the stairs.
Exactly, Tiziana. So Henry, another strategy that you can employ is you should make friends with all of your neighbors in this event. If you just can't get even down the hall, just bang on their doors and have a unit within your hall that are all friends, like neighborhood watch. And you can go and seek shelter with any of your neighbors then.
And the other thing, being in an apartment, you can shelter in place, right? Because of the way the building has been built, concrete and steel, and you've got a 2-hour compartment in your apartment building, your own apartment itself, so you can shelter in place that way, right? If the fire is not in your unit.
Exactly. Fire in your unit, you must leave. If not, you can shelter in place.
And then you do all the things that you need to do while you're sheltering in place. Putting duct tape, putting sealing the door at the bottom with some towels, moving away from the door, sealing the air vent, all those things that needs to get done when you're sheltering in place.
Okay, that's great. Some terrific information, great questions. Thank you, everybody, and some great answers. I have a question. What should people do if they have any more questions or comments or inquiries? Where can they go for more information?
www.toronto.ca/fire.
On the computer.
On the computer.
On the computer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tiziana.
Thank you, Marilee.